Today, I'm teaching you how to beat drop back, because we hate it. First of all, before you can beat drop back, you have to understand drop back. Now, there's two types of drop back, and we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. So the drop back tactic causes your center backs to play really deep, giving your forward space, but the midfielders cut off all passing lanes by positioning themselves right in front of your forward. This causes you to play side to side or wide due to your forward being isolated and blocked. The way to beat drop back is to focus on those midfielders that are right in front of your forward. Now, what you want to do with these midfielders is pull them away so you can isolate your forward with your center backs. Now, I use a 4-3-3. It's a little bit harder because I rely on my forward and my two attacking midfielders. If you use a two striker formation, then you're going to rely on the two strikers playing off of each other. Now, there's two types of drop back players. There's the aggressive one, which is the one that is never going to touch the center backs because they play off, but they're always going to be chasing you around with their midfielders. They're only going to select their midfielders and they're going to chase their players around, and you're going to be able to find spaces because they're doing the job for you of pulling away from the center back. Now, the tougher drop back opponents are the ones that play conservative. These type of players never rush out to take the ball from you. All they focus on is cutting off the passing lanes to your forward and forcing you to play side to side and wide. So against an aggressive drop back opponent, you really just want to do 1-2s and you'll find a way to score easy. Now, these are more noobish tactics. We're going to go into the more professional drop back ones. These type of opponents, they will only use the midfield to press your player when they think you don't have any other options, but you do. If they come at you and they're blocking the passing lane to your forward on the ground, then simply press the lob button. Nobody's doing this, and this is working wonders for me against the drop back. If you lob over the midfield, like if people are scared of lobbing it because they think their center back is going to close in and take the ball from your forward, since they're playing drop back, the center back is really off. So once you lob it, your forward is wide open. He's always going to receive the ball. Then all you have to do is shield it, wait for your teammates to get into position, and it's an easy score. Also, another thing that you'll notice when you lob it, since a lot of people play on switching defenders only air ball and loose balls, when you lob it, since they're jockeying, their player will automatically switch to where the ball is going and they'll get out of position. That's the reason why I don't play on air ball, I play on manual. This used to happen to me a lot. And everybody plays with air ball, so if you do this, they're gonna get out of position a little bit and it opens up for goals more often than not. Another thing about drop back is using the driven pass. I think it was very popular in FIFA 18 when it was introduced. It could have been 17. I don't remember, but it was very popular, very overpowered. And for some reason in this FIFA, a lot of people aren't using it, but it is so OP against drop back, and you have to use it because if you don't pass quickly, defenders are going to get in position, they're going to take the ball away from you. In some of these examples, you see that I get the driven ball, and since the ball is coming at such a fast pace, I can pass it off into my teammates that are getting into better attacking positions, and it's a clear goal. Sometimes I even pass it on teammates that are running with a defender right on them. And since it's not a through ball where they can both fight for the ball, the driven pass actually goes straight to my player. And once they switch to their defender, sometimes it discombobulates them a little bit and they end up staying behind. I've used this a lot and it works for me, and I think you should use it too. If you have a player that's going right with your player, they're neck and neck, just do a driven pass. A lot of the times it'll be a lucky bounce and you'll be clear on goal. Now, you have to understand something about the mentality you have to have when you're playing drop back. A lot of people like to play this fast-paced game, just attack, then get countered, attack, then get countered, attack, then get countered, because that's how FIFA 19 was. Now, FIFA 20 isn't like that. It's built for possession. It's just that people are exploiting the drop back because other players are so used to FIFA 19. So you gotta adapt. What I mean about this is against drop back, very rarely are you gonna be able to score 5 goals or 4 goals or 6 or 7 if you don't have a great team. If you have a more crappier team like I do, you're probably gonna end up grinding out results 1-0, 2-1, an occasional 3-goal game. You gotta have the mentality of possession. So you gotta frustrate your opponent. Now, I'm not saying just pass it backwards. I mean, if you lob it, you shield it, you pass it back, then side to side, working your way forward, but never just do quick passes and pass immediately to your forward, because they're gonna take the ball away from you and you're gonna get countered. Be patient and just look for the spaces. Now for my defensive tactics, I've gone with balanced defense, because I feel like if I just pressure all the time, my players will get tired and they'll lose stamina a lot faster. And against counter-attacking opponents with really pacey strikers, you really cannot afford to just drain your stamina like that. For width, I go right at 5, right in the middle. I don't want to be too narrow where I could get exposed by the wings, and I don't want to be too open where I could get exposed in the middle. So I just play it very balanced there. Now on depth, I put 4. Some people will tell you to put all the way down. I find that I allow my opponent too much time on the ball when they do that. That's how a lot of people play me, drop back in 1 depth. I play with 4, which is just enough to avoid the counters. 4 for me is the best depth option there is in the game. A little higher and you get countered a lot. A little less and you'll never be able to take the ball away if somebody plays like me, which is just possession. Now for the offense, I recommend either using balanced or possession. I play possession. I always like to have somebody that I can pass it to. But balance works just as well if you know how to use the R1 and the L1 to either tell your teammate to go on runs or tell your teammate to come towards you. Long ball against drop back is exactly what your opponent wants. They want you to play fast and to have everybody go forward so they can counter. Fast build up, the same thing. They want you to play fast so they can counter you easily. So that's why I recommend possession and balance all the way. Now the width, I've been experimenting from 3 to 5. I never go too wide, and I was doing it before, but I was finding that whenever I played an aggressive drop back player, I didn't have too many options to pass. Right when I play at 5, I have a lot of options, and it's still a wide. It'll still give me some wide options, and it'll give me some very short options as well. So that's why I play it at 5. Every now and then I'll do 3, but 5 is my go-to. Now players in the box, I go with 8. Now this does open some counter situations, but I want my players running forward. But since I'm playing in possession, they don't go crazy. You know, it's just they'll go forward whenever the option is there, but they don't consistently go forward. That's why when you play possession and you play with 8 players in the box, you get just the perfect balance of players going forward. I rarely get countered, and when I do, there's always somebody defending. So you got to think about, if you're playing drop back and you're not putting players in the box, you're not going to score. Unless you have a God team, it's going to be very hard to score because nobody's going to be making runs, and you need people to be making runs. Now I play 4-3-3 or the 4-3-2-1, but the instructions are exactly the same. So I'm going to tell you exactly what you have to do to beat this drop back formation. So for the striker, everybody uses getting behind because everybody's thinking that counter mentality. For drop back, I rather use target man. Now this really helps because you want that option to be able to lob it to your forward and for him to just stand strong and wait for your teammates to get in better position. So target man has to be the one you use when you're playing an opponent with drop back. If you notice that your opponent is just completely going after you, then have a formation ready to change it into getting behind. But if you're playing somebody that's just sitting back, target man is the best thing to do. I also have him on stay central because I don't want him drifting wide. I always want to have a north point, a point of reference where I know he's going to be there and I can lob it to him anytime I want, or I can driven pass to him. So he is not really important for scoring. He's more for hold up play and for passing it to other teammates that are getting in positions to score. Aggressive interceptions because I always want him pressing the back line, and I have him on stay forward. I don't want him anywhere near defending. He's just going to stay up there, so I have that point of reference to relieve any kind of pressure if they're coming at me too hard. Now for my wingers, I put in getting behind because my striker is already the one, he's already the target man. So he holds up and he lays it off to the teammates that are making those runs. You could put comeback on defense if you want, if you feel like you're getting mauled and you need to switch up your tactics to defend a little bit. I don't really put comeback on defense. I'm more of an offensive player. And aggressive interceptions as well because I like to put a lot of pressure on that back line. For my left center mid and my right center mid, I put the instruction of get forward. Again, because I'm using the target man to play the ball off with them. So I'll hold it, shield it, and then I'll pass it to my midfielder or my winger. I like to put free roam because, you know, stick to position is good organizational wise, but free roam really allows your midfielders to make those runs. I put cover center because a lot of people play narrow formations. And I put aggressive interceptions on this one, but I'm thinking about switching either to balanced or conservative, because sometimes if they don't have great stamina, they will tire out quickly. For center defensive mid, I put stay back while attacking, and in this case, it's just a center mid, but when it's a center defensive mid, I will put cut passing lanes, normal interceptions or conservative, because I don't want them getting tired and I don't want them going crazy, and cover center as well. Now for my fullbacks, now this is one that a lot of people are not gonna agree with. I put them on join the attack, but you could leave it at balance. I don't recommend putting stay back while attacking because your opponent is dropping back. So if you hold the possession, like I told you to, if you hold the possession and you don't give your opponent too many chances to counter, when they do get the ball, they get frustrated. They start making a lot of mistakes. So I put them on join the attack because to beat the drop back, you need players to go forward. You need passing options. You need to expose defenders, and with them joining on the attack and having a lot of players making runs, it does make your opponent start moving his defense around, and it starts shifting and it opens up spaces. If you don't do that, then they're going to be very comfortable, and you want to make these guys uncomfortable. Make them get the ball and then try to go quickly forward because they don't know when they're going to have the ball next. So they will make mistakes, trust me, they will. They'll rush the ball a lot because they're afraid that if you get the ball back, you're going to frustrate them again with possession. Hopefully these tactics help you out. They've been working for me. I played yesterday and I did not lose a game, and I was facing some pretty decent teams compared to mine. These teams are, I mean, I faced some Griezmanns, I faced some Scream cards, some legends, and I would, or icons, I mean. I found a way to grind it out with this team because I was trying to do the whole icon swap thing. So yeah, if you like my player, make sure to check that video out. I will leave it right here on the eye because it's a great story that I'm putting together. Other than that, it's been your boy Zoe. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.